It's a great pleasure to have all of you here today. So I thought you all might begin your tour here.
Hey do-it-yourself fans, this is Ramey Jordan from the Auto Diesel channel. I'm going to do a full walkthrough on my Jordan box truck camper conversion 2015 video that everybody responded to. Thank you very much for all the positive comments. Per the request of some of the viewers, I'd like to do a full walkthrough here in addition to check my other video out about the shower. I won't do that one as thoroughly, but I wanted to walk through all the stuff that you see here and give you an idea of some of the ideas that I came up with for my work. It was a lot of work. It took me about 15 weekends to do this over a 3.5 month period, working 8 and 10 hour days. So it's a lot of work to do this sort of thing, but I'm very pleased with this result, and I've taken this camper out several times already, and everything's worked great. So here we go. We'll start with the inside cabin. As I showed in one of my previous videos, this is my shower here. It works off of a hot water heater down here underneath this cabinet, piped in using a PEX system and valving. That's right in here. Hot water and cold water feed into a shower that's using a standard shower curtain that's cut off the bottom just the right height to be able to manage working inside this shower. So I would take a look at my video that I did on the shower specifically to get all those details. One of the things I'm very pleased with is the way the electrical turned out. I've used this cabinet here to house my electrical work. Very happy with this Paneltronics panel. As you see here, we've got specific breakers for air conditioning, convenience outlets, and a water heater. It's got a 30 amp main feed to this unit, and it comes all pre-assembled. This piece up here is actually a 12 volt bus bar that I use. This thermostat requires it. The Paneltronics requires 12 volt also in order to illuminate the panel. This one requires it for the signaling for the temperature. And so from there, this goes up above the roof into the air conditioner here, and then the rest of this is some 110 outlets, a 12 volt outlet, and the rest of it goes down and feeds out the rest of the cabin. 110 volt outlets here, 4 of them, a 12 volt outlet here, thermostat for the air conditioner, and this happens to be another light for the shower that I've created. Okay. This cabinet actually was part of a twin bed unit that I bought used for $250. It's made out of pine. It's very sturdy. It originally came with 6 drawers. I've disabled these 2 over here in the bottom drawer because of the wheel well and the hot water heater. As I mentioned before, this cabinet now has a 6 gallon hot water heater in it that's been plumbed using the PEX system down here. It's already feeding into 110 volt. You can see this drawer is for towels and the sundries there, and these drawers are used for food and various things I might want to have for my trip. Nice little Framco fan here. I've used one of these before. It's a 12 volt. It's a 3-position unit, plus it also will alternate between 2, 4, 6, and 8 hours time spans that you can put on this unit, and it'll cut off automatically after that. But it's a pretty quiet fan. That's the 2nd speed. That's the 3rd speed. And then there again it's off. So one thing I did recently is to putting these curtains. These are actually towels that I thought matched fairly nicely, and I've rigged up a piece of wood underneath here with a drilled hole through the wood to run this what is a boot shoelace through that piece there that will come loose. When I tie it, it'll just drop down and give me a nice little curtain here that I can easily roll back up and tie with these boot laces. The bed is an extra extra long single bed. It's a what they call a twin XL. It's 80 inches long. That's the same length that you would get in a king size bed, but not as wide, obviously. It's 39 inches wide, which is standard for a twin bed. All this lighting up here is 12 volt, switchable here, or I've got a main switch that'll cut all of them on or off if I choose to. I've also installed a Samsung Blu-ray DVD player and a high definition television here. It's also piped in power to an outlet over here that comes from below. Once again, a curtain on this side. For the winter time, I like to use this little Blasco heater. I set it up about right here, and it'll keep the upper half of this cabin from the bed high up just nice and warm. It's a very nice little unit, this little heater is, and it's switchable here, obviously on and off, and for different heat elements. And then you can kind of set the temperature here, and it will cut on and off on its own. It won't be a constantly run unit. It'll just stop and start as it senses the temperature based on where you set it. So I like this unit a lot. What else I've done with the cabinetry is to take that was part of this original unit here, a large drawer. There were 2 drawers of this size here that came with this used unit that I bought, along with the headboards and the footboard that I was using, footboard that I was using, that came from that other unit. This one here then obviously is I use it for clothes. It's very deep. It'll hold quite a bit, and I've got a strap on the other end of it and some catches that'll keep it from pulling forward, and I've also got it on some nice rails. I also changed out all the rails in these cabinets here to these nice sliding rails with the ball bearings on them. They're very nice, and I've also put some extra catches, as you can see here, to hold the drawers shut while I'm traveling. Okay. On this side, I've got a cabinet that I built out of the original wood that came with the benches in this unit. So this piece here and on the sides and the bottom were the original benches that have been stained to hold things like movies and sundry things, binoculars. This doubles as a step, which is behind here is the wheel well. And then down below, there's a 110 outlet and a 12 volt outlet down here that runs this winter refrigerator, freezer. This is a great little unit. I forget how large it is. I think it's a 45, 65 quart. It's got a nice deep pocket here and a less deep here for various things you might want to keep cold. This thing will freeze down to -8 if you want it. I tend to run it about 37 degrees, and I'm very pleased with this unit. And like I said, when I disconnect the power, the electrical power, it cuts on to a 12 volt, and so I don't have to worry about it going off except when I run out of battery power for some reason. Since my original video, I've also put in some hangers here for coats and things like that, and then also behind here I happen to use the travel toilet from the traveltoilet.com. It's a great little unit. You might want to check that out, the traveltoilet.com. As far as the air conditioner, this is a Dometic I installed. It'll require a 30 amp circuit to run it. Actually, it'll run 20 amps. It'll only require 20 amps, but you're going to have to put a 30 amp into the unit if you want to run everything plus that. So we'll cut it on. It should come on here in just a second. So this Dometic unit will cool this cabin really nice. This box truck is 10 feet long. As I mentioned, I've got 70 inches as roof height, and the width is 84 inches. So this unit cools that real nice. I put this unit on the other day on a day that was about 97 degrees, and it was able to cool down this cabin 20 degrees. It took about an hour on that day from start to finish, but it cooled at 20 degrees and was able to hold the temperature at 74 degrees no problem. Okay, so I think the final piece that I haven't spoken about yet is the ceiling. So this box truck originally came with an 1/8 inch aluminum roof with some ribs on it, 5 ribs that went across side to side, and obviously I needed some way to insulate the roof from the heat. So I did several things. One is I put on a special Karnak aluminum fibered paint on the ceiling, not only to secure it from leaks, but to also insulate it just slightly from the roof and reflect off the sun. Second thing I did was to start putting in some insulation. So if you look at my original video, I used polyisocyanurate insulation up the top, and I used the butyl tape I'm going to show you to secure it to the ceiling. Then I also used a 3M90 spray adhesive to glue 2 pieces together. So I put a 3/4 inch piece, then a 1/2 inch piece, and then I covered all that. Once I had that secured, I covered all that with a 1/8 inch foam rubber foil backed adhesive insulation that went on top of that. You'll see that in my original video. And then this felt is glued to a plywood board, and all of that is screwed into the edges, and wherever there is a beam across here, I was able to screw into it with painted screws, and I'll show you those screws. These are trussed screws, and they're very nice. So I have an R value of 11.2 for this roof, not counting the board and the felt. So I'm pretty pleased with the roof. Another thing that I did to my passenger side is to cut out the board that was behind the passenger seat. It was about halfway over it, about right here. In addition to that, is I bought a swivel for the base of this seat from sportsmobile.com. It fit perfect. I've got a video on that special, so you can take a look at that, but clearly it gives me a nice seating arrangement in addition to the bed whenever I'd like to sit down and enjoy some relaxing time. So consider that also in your work. Alright, so let's take a look at the back and then underneath, and we'll be done. Okay, from the back side, I'm very pleased with this truck from the standpoint that it has these double folding doors. I don't think I would have been happy with a rolling door setup, and to find a truck with these double doors like this was kind of unique. As I mentioned, I found this truck on eBay. I paid $17,500 for it. The unique thing about it was used by a flight crew. They were the only owners. It was built by the Government Services Administration originally, and because it was used on a flight tarmac, it only had 5,940 miles on it. So that was quite a deal. I'm really pleased to have this step here, which you can imagine that they used at the time. So things that I've done to the back, obviously I've put in a backup camera in here at the top, and I've caulked all these doors to make sure there's no leaks. There were some tiny leaks due to the age. This is a 2007 model, and I just want to make sure it didn't have any leakage problems, so now it's nice and tight. So here we go. What I've done here, especially over here on the battery side, is to build in a there's a 110 volt outlet way back there in the back, you might be able to see, and that's connected to this Minn Kota battery charger here, which is a marine grade battery charger. This battery is an AGM battery. AGM batteries are had been used by the Air Force, and a lot of people use them on the marine boat type things because you don't have to maintain them. They're watertight, and you can tilt them in all sorts of directions and they'll still operate no problem. I put this little switch on here to cut off the Minn Kota when I'm running the lights too long, so it doesn't have to charge, and also try to run the lights at the same time. It's strapped down I've got it secured to the ground, to this metal decking here with that same butyl tape that I'm going to show you up above. And of course, obviously the second one is an electrical wire that goes over here. I'll show you in a minute. This cabin space is used primarily for electrical cords, my main 30 amp cord, water hoses, additional electrical hoses you can see, and some adapters. Down here is my spare tire. I built this space specifically for the spare tire with the tools and the jack, so it'd be secure. It's strapped in there. I've got an extra strap on here so I can pull it out when I need to. I shouldn't have to have that. First aid kit. Under here is a deep space. That's a boat cover there, along with some leveling blocks. And I wanted to show you these screws while I'm at it. In order to build this unit, I chose to use these are stainless steel decking screws, and they use a special tool to do them. This is a star tool, a T15 star tool, I believe is correct, for that screw joint right there. But they worked real nice, and you can recess them fairly easily. In addition to that, I chose to use these Hillman what they call truss Phillips self-piercing screws. They got a nice flat head on them. This one happens to be 1 inch. I also used the same screw in a 9/16 size for the sealing. I actually painted the top of these screws to match the felt so it would blend in well. In addition to that, I'm using these particle board screws. These are Phillips head. I use these in certain types of things because they've got this recessible head on them, and so you can get them nice and flat and things that you might want to use for that. So, as I mentioned, this unit has an alternate light switch here that I can cut all the lights off of the inside, and then this goes for the power up to the television. I've added this little light here for the evening. If I'm pulling something out in the evening, I've got this fluorescent here that'll shine into these spaces somewhat and help me to see what I'm doing there. Another thing I've done to this middle drawer is to add this strap. The purpose of the strap is that if I had to stop too quickly in that drawer, I might move forward. I've got catches here to hold it in position normally anyway, to give it a little strength to hold it in position, but if I were to stop extremely fast, this drawer would go too far forward, but now it's going to catch on those straps instead of going right out the other end. So, a little safety feature I put in there. One other thing to consider when you're going to do something like this is a pair of knee pads. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little older, and my knees need some help. So I'm going to show you 2 sets of knee pads that I thought worked great for me, and you can see whether or not you can find these local in your area. First one I bought was this HDX. There's all sorts of knee pads you can get, but I like this one because it comes with a special clip on the side, and so when you put it around your leg, all you gotta do is put that in right there and tighten it up, and it'll be great. The second one, since I wore those out, is this one that I have on. So these are some AWPs. They have a single strap Velcro on the side here that works pretty nice. They're a little bit more padding in them than the others. They don't require some kind of a protective rubbery thing on the top to be effective, unless you're a roofer or something like that. But I'd highly recommend you get a set of nice knee pads for this kind of work, because you're going to be on your knees a whole lot. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the shower drains into a gray tank that's underneath this unit, and I'll show you that in just a second. I bought that tank. I had it pre-made by a company called Plastic Mart. I gave them the dimensions of the space I needed, and they came up with a configuration that would work. You have to find a way to attach the tank yourself and do all the plumbing for it, but it does come with a built-in exit nozzle on it that you can attach to. So, in addition, obviously I've put in this SureFlow water entry here. Look for a plastic one. There's a chrome one I think is pretty lightweight, but this plastic one is pretty nice. I put a quick connect on it so I can hook my hoses up fairly quickly when I'm ready to pull into a campsite. Also, then this is a 30 amp entry point for the electric. This is a preset 30 amp connector. You can see Marinco makes this. This is marine grade. That's something I should mention again, is that a lot of the components in this van are marine grade wiring and connectors, and obviously this fits like a glove. Just put it in there, twist it in, lock this down, and you're all set. So then underneath this is my gray tank with my Valterra valve. This is kind of a standard gray tank setup that you'll see in a lot of RVs, and you can buy these components yourself and install them. Okay, you can see in my original video this Valterra valve setup. It's a 3-inch connector with a valve. That piece of white PVC down in there is one piece I got from Lowe's to connect all this together. It happened to fit perfectly inside that opening there, which I glued together with the proper glue, and same thing to the valve on this side. And the tank itself is a 20 gallon tank. I built the straps and I drilled and tapped these spaces up in here to pull these straps together, and it's been very secure. I haven't had any shifting on this at all since I put this in, and I don't expect to have any. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it gives you some ideas, great. Good luck to you all in doing your own do-it-yourself projects. Thanks again for all the positive response. If you have any more questions, just send me an email that's listed at the back end of this video. Name again is Ramey Jordan. I'm at the Auto Diesel channel. Have fun doing all your do-it-yourself projects and enjoy your camping experience. Thanks.